Williams class, for your English lesson today, the learning objective is, can I write my final hot task? So today will be your final independent write. So please make sure that you find somewhere quiet to do this, and make sure that you are laying your work out neatly and remembering everything that needs to be included in the instruction. So let's just have a quick refresh of our toolkit, of all the different features of our instructional writing. So we need to have a title, paragraphs, subheadings, a list, some steps, a diagram or an illustration, the second person point of view, imperative verbs, adverbs of time, chronological order, technical vocabulary, bullet points and numbering, and lastly, rhetorical questions. And here is a little snapshot of where you can find those features. So for example, the title is right at the top and your closing paragraph is right at the bottom. So this support mat can help you with your writing. You can see here, you can keep this open while you're doing your hot task if you would like to. As you can see, you have your title at the top, as I just mentioned before, your introductory paragraph, which usually asks questions, wanting the reader to read more. You then have your equipment needed in bullet points, subheadings for each section. You have the steps or the method that is used. This is usually numbered and uses adverbs of time and imperative verbs. And lastly, you have your closing paragraph, sometimes a reminder of what you should avoid. Then I've just put for you some imperative verbs that you might want to use in your instructions. We have my turn, your turn, put, fold, press, turn, make, attach, cook, cut, place, take, hold, pull, wait, measure, check, look. Fantastic. And then here are some adverbs that you could use in your instructions also. Carefully, gently, slowly, firmly, evenly, sensibly, bravely, fiercely, proudly, easily, boldly, anxiously. Then you have some useful adverbs of time, so you can include these as well. First, next, then, when, after, before, while, lastly, finally, secondly, after that, now. And then lastly, you have some vocabulary words for your English text, just to remember if you want to include them, but they are in your text map for building an empire, so they might not help entirely, but maybe you want to include them nonetheless. They are instructions, empire, conquer, weapons, defeat, Colosseum, kingdom, plunder, invade, leader. So all of the features that I have just spoken about, try your best to use as much as possible out of this support map. You will use this checklist to help you with your writing. So when you are not looking at this support mat, you can have this open just to remind you what to include. So it says here in your instructions, you must make sure that you have punctuated your sentences with full stops and that you have used capital letters for all proper nouns. So that is names, places, days, months, and so on. You need to make sure that your set of instructions includes a title and subheadings, an introduction, a list of things you will need, and step-by-step instructions. Then you have to make sure that you have used numbered bullets to make the order clear. So using 1, 2, 3, and 4. You have to make sure that you have used imperative or bossy verbs. You have to make sure that you have used adverbs and verbs. You have made good use of your adjectives, adverbs of time, and technical vocabulary. You have used conjunctions or adverbial phrases to join two ideas together. For example, until, although, when you get there, and before you begin. You have punctuated your fronted adverbials correctly, and you have included a diagram or illustration. So as I said before, use this checklist to help you when you are writing your instructions. If you find yourself to be a little bit stuck, this will help to remind you of all that is expected from your set of instructions. Your 3 tasks for today are as follows. Task number 1. You are going to neatly write your final set of instructions. Number 2, you are going to read through your instructions and make sure that you have the correct spellings and layout. And then number 3 is you're going to draw your illustration and you are going to caption it. So I would just like to say the number 1 reason why you might think, Ms. Gulzar, we need more support than this, is because it is a hot task. And if you remember your hot tasks from being in class, then you will know that this is really just to see how well you have learnt how to write instructions. So if, you know, an adult at home, or if I gave you lots and lots of support for this, then it would mean that we know how to write instructions, but we don't know if you do. So this is a really, really nice way just for us to see how well you've learnt. And it will be a little bit trickier as a result of that, because being at home, being in school as well, we're used to adults helping us, which is absolutely fine. But for this hot task, I would really love for every single one of you to push yourselves to find a nice quiet place in your house, sit down and just focus on getting your hot task done to the best of your ability. Now, when you are writing, a few of the expectations that I can hint are making sure that your spelling is good. So you can use Google to help you with your spellings. You can use a dictionary. Making sure that your punctuation is good. Beginning your sentences with capital letters. Ending your sentences with full stops. Adding commas where commas need to be added. And you need to make sure that your grammar is good as well. So remember that you have to write your instructions in the second person tense. Think about what that is, remind yourselves, and make sure that you stick to it. And also make sure that you're writing in the same tense. Now, a few of you did struggle with this, I think, when I saw on Tapestry. Some of you would be writing some sentences in the present tense and then others in the future tense or past tense. So remember, you're sticking to one tense. And normally it is the present tense. And what I've just mentioned now will tie in very, very nicely with task number 2, which is to make sure that you've read through your work. A couple of you have done this really, really well, where you have checked through your work for any spelling mistakes that you might have or grammatical errors. So make sure that you are doing this consistently. What that means is make sure that you aren't just reading through one of your pieces of work and you think, yep, that's fine, I don't have any corrections to make. Normally, every single piece of work will have at least one error that has slipped our minds when we're writing, which is absolutely normal. So do make sure that you leave yourself about 5 minutes at the end to just read through your work. Read it out loud. Because you're on your own now, you're not with your friends or you're not with your classmates in school. No one will hear you, so no one will get too distracted, hopefully, if you read your work out loud. So that's a nice thing about working from home. You can read through your work out loud if you want to, really make sure that it's making sense. And then for task number 3, drawing your illustration and your caption of it, drawing your illustration and captioning it, make sure that your illustration is relevant to your set of instructions. So what that means is make sure that what you are drawing has a reason, has some sort of connection and link to your instructions. So there's no point drawing an animal if your instructions isn't about that animal. And when I say caption, I mean to tell me why you've drawn it, maybe underneath the picture, or you could label the picture, and that would tell me then that you've included it for this reason. So good luck, Williams class. Remember, this is an independent task, so really make sure that you are in a nice little quiet spot where you are comfortable and you can focus on getting your hot task completed. And again, just try your very best. That's always something that I remind every single one of you to do. It's not just to make sure, I hope Miss Gulzar's happy, or I hope mum and dad are going to be happy with my work. You have to be most impressed with your piece of work. So try your best, and that's the best that we can do, isn't it? Just try your best. And remember, stay most focused on task 1. Once you've finished your set of instructions, then give yourself the time to check your spellings and your layouts, and then take the time to draw your illustration and caption it. So that is all from me for your English lesson, Williams class. Good luck, and I will see you very, very soon. Take care.